Alright, so this is the prologue. It introduces a bunch of just known mechanics throughout the entire game. Jump, climb, and eventually dash. Climb eventually is just you climb a wall and you have stamina. I have Echo. And so FCRacers is as of right now, and he will give you the dash first. So a dash is essentially, it's just you dash. There's not really much to it. And now we're on to the Forsaken City. So it introduces a couple of different new mechanics, which are springs, spikes, and zippers. Springs are, they give you a jump boost and give you a dash back. Zippers are, they move along a track at a very something speed. They give you momentum. And FCRacers is having a bit of trouble here, dying a little bit. And BlackPear is way out in the lead, like 4 rooms ahead. So there's also refresh crystals. They give you dash and stamina back, and stamina is used when you climb. And BlackPear unfortunately dying on the second to last run. And now BlackPear is finished up with Forsaken City. So yeah, he's in the lead as of right now, and FCRacers is coming up close behind, but not too close. He'll be about a couple of seconds behind. Now, Old Site, it introduces a couple of different new mechanics as well. It introduces dream blocks, which are a bunch of goop that you can dash through until you reach the other side. And it can be used for a lot of momentum tricks. There's also Battle-In, as well as the doors, which the doors, once you get all the keys to, you unlock it and you can move on. And these are the dream blocks. And now Battle-In is on a 3-second delay. She essentially just follows you around on a 3-second delay. And these are the doors, as I mentioned earlier, which there's a couple of different types. There's ones with just one eyeball, I guess. And there's ones with like 6 or 7. And FCRacers unfortunately died in the third to last room of the first part of Old Site. And BlackPear has officially a very widening gap lead And now we're moving on to Celestial Resort Hotel, which is mostly where most runs go to die. And it introduces the dust particles. I don't know exactly what they're called. And keys and doors, as well as a bunch of those tendrils in the walls. It's coming up eventually. And now FCRacers finally gets into Celestial Resort Hotel after a bit of a struggle in the last couple of rooms. Was it jitters? Maybe. Who knows? Oh, and BlackPear unfortunately dies. And FCRacers is making a bit of a comeback because of the unexpected deaths from BlackPear. I thought he would get less of the jitters from this after his pretty unique first and second chapters. And now BlackPear is officially out of that. I don't know. Oh, and now he's moving on to the huge mess, which is... Yeah, this is the hardest part, probably, of the chapter. It introduces 3 different places with different jelly blocks that you have to smash in order to clean up the mess. And yeah, this is where the first, like, not major, but minor skip is, or, well, not skip, spike jump / wall bounce is. And I forgot to tell you all about, like, hyper dashes, wave dashes, and whatnot. Hyper dashes are you dash really, you jump and dash really fast. Jump dashes are just when you dash and jump after. Wave dash is when you jump, dash towards the ground, and use the momentum from the dash in order to make a faster, I guess, comeback. Not comeback. And now BlackPear has finished 2 of the huge messes, and FCRacers has just finished his first, meaning they're well, actually he finished all 3 of them. My fault. And FCRacers is now on to the third part. And now it's getting a little interesting because they're only a couple rooms apart now. And an unfortunate death from BlackPear, trying to dash onto those, dash above those spikes, but he couldn't quite make it. And here's the first real skip of the chapter, which is the key skip. Basically, you go get the key, and then you skip going to having to go back all the way just by pressing the retry button. And now BlackPear is on the Oshiro fight, which is essentially you run away from Oshiro while he tries and kills you. That's basically the whole premise. And it's a hard fight if you don't know how to dodge it with dodge his attacks with the hyper dashes and whatnot. Because he follows you by vertical position, and when he gets struck by lightning, then you attack. And now BlackPear is moving on to the last room of Oshiro's fight. FCRacers is close behind, also in the Oshiro fight. And now BlackPear has finished up with his Oshiro fight, with FCRacers coming in on the last room as well. And now, yeah, we're now on to Golden Ridge, or Chapter 4. Which introduces the green bubbles, which they throw you a dash length. There's also clouds, which bounce you. There's also the pink clouds, which disappear after you bounce on them, but they reappear. They also have moving platforms now. And BlackPear and FCRacers are on the same room. This means it's going to be a very close match in this segment here. And an unfortunate death from BlackPear just now. And now there's a small auto-scroller skip right here where, on FCRacer's screen, where you just do a hyper dash once you get close enough to the edge in order to get a little bit of a wall bounce. And BlackPear dying very, very much on this one room. It might give FCRacers a bit of the edge, which it does. And FCRacers has finally come up with the lead. It's probably just a stream, unfortunately, for me, because, I don't know. It's a little distinct. And FCRacers and BlackPear are on the same room as of right now. FCRacers has a little bit of a lead coming up onto the weird room. And now onto the snowballs. The snowballs, essentially, if you get hit by them, you die unless you bounce on top of them, which then it replenishes your stamina and your dashes if you have multiple. They're extremely close as of right now. BlackPear has a little bit of a lead. And BlackPear has officially finished Chapter 4, which means we're on to Chapter 5, Mirror Temple, which introduces 3 main new mechanics, which are 1, the dash blocks, which they're on a set amount of length and are activated upon every dash. The red bubbles, which are essentially the same as green bubbles, except they go for infinite length until you 1, dash out, or 2, you hit a wall. And you have Seekers, which we'll get to. On the same room. I think they both overcame the jitters and starting to actually focus. Oh, and one of the best skips in the game. It's a very large skip, and it skipped basically the entire room. And we also have the key skip, which you use the red bubble that was very much intentioned by the developers to skip the whole room in order to get a secret collectible. And now BlackPear is on the mirror part of the Mirror Temple, which finally introduces you as a Seeker for literally 5 seconds. And you meet Battlein again, but for like a millisecond to skip the cutscenes consistently. And now Seekers are here, which they use their Y and X axes in order to find you and try and kill you. And we have BlackPear blitzing through these rooms. Looks like he's been practicing very much recently the Mirror Temple. And here's the big skip coming up, which is the search skip. It skips about 4 minutes, roughly. Which basically you do a reverse jump dash and then dash up to climb up on the walls. And FCRacers right now is on the search skip and is having a little bit of trouble, but he manages to get it on second try. And I forgot to mention that there's also another part of this place, which is Theo. And Theo is trapped in a crystal thing, crystal pentagon, something like that, in which you... and you cannot use dashes while carrying him, but if you throw him, you can dash and you can boost a lot of your speed off of Theo. BlackPear had a little bit of trouble in the last room, but he's starting to get back in the hang of things. And he's on the second, he's on the room with the giant eyeball, which is essentially you just throw Theo at him and he dies. And there you go, BlackPear is finished with Chapter 5 and moving on to Reflection, which is largely story, but it introduces a bunch of new mechanics as well, which are, the first one is the Golden Feather, which lets you go in any of the directions for a short amount of time. There's also the Crush Blocks, which is coming up soon, unless he does the Lake Skip, which is pretty hard skip to do. Fails a couple of times, but he might just stop doing it. Ooh. This is going to cause him a lot of misfortune and he finally gets it. And these are the Crush Blocks, which are just essentially, if you smash them on any of the directions that are blue, then it'll move indefinitely in that direction until it hits a wall, or until it gets tired. we're going to see a skip of from the Crush block soon, which is the Battle and Boost. I will tell you about that when we get near it. Oh, and we also have the bouncers, which essentially just bounce you in the direction that you hit it in. FCRacers is blitzing through these rooms like they are nothing. BlackPear getting very close to where I mentioned earlier, the Battle and Boost. Or, well, not really close, it's more or less 5 or 6, nah, more like 8 rooms ahead. I'm getting ahead of myself. And you talk to the granny for a millisecond, which is just kind of funny. There are some developer-intended cuts into the crystals, which unfortunately BlackPear just missed one of them and died and has to restart the room. BlackPear going into the Battle and Boost section, or well, that is, if he does do it, which, it's a good skip. It's a very good skip. FCRacers is not too close behind, but he's gaining. And this is the battle and boss fight section, which is, it has no health bar, which you just hit her constantly throughout the room until she gets to the final couple of rooms. And FCRacers is also in the battle section as well. BlackPear just blitzing through these battling sections right now. Same with FCRacers, they're only a couple of runs behind. Not too much that I can say going on here, other than an unfortunate death from BlackPear. And now BlackPear is on the second part of the fight, which is she moves the blocks around, and they can kill you if you're not careful. Same with FCRacers right here. He is moved on to the second part of the fight as well, gaining some ground. And now they're neck and neck. This is quite a close race. I can't emphasize this enough because it honestly is one of the closest races other than the one that I commentated over a couple of days ago. And FCRacers has taken a lead and now is on the section where she levels up and she gains the ability to dash again, which will be very, very helpful in Summit because that's the main mechanic other than the ranging variety of gimmicks within every need point. And FCRacers is taking probably a little bit of a water break right here. And BlackPear just goes right into Summit. Doesn't stop, so he can get a bit more of a lead. And an unfortunate death right there. Needed to retry because his timing was off. And they're on the same room again. They're only about 0.6 seconds behind. Which we now move on to the Forsaken City part of it. And FCRacers have a little bit of trouble right there, and BlackPear taking the lead yet again. And BlackPear has officially moved on to the old site section. And FCRacers having a little bit of trouble on the last room. And they're on the same room yet again. Having a little bit of trouble right here. And now BlackPear is on the third section, or Celestial Resort Hotel, which is a hard place, definitely. Definitely one of the hardest places in Summit, other than Mirror Temple and its weird section. Only a couple of rooms behind, and FCRacers going for the Ultra and messing up quite a couple of times. And BlackPear has cemented his lead for right now. But who knows, it's still wet cement, so we can't know for sure if it's going to be for the rest of the game. And officially went into the Golden Ridge section, which I'm a little late to right now. FCRacers has also moved on. And we're moving on to the snowball section, which is giving BlackPear a little bit of trouble, but I think he'll be able to figure it out. And FCRacers is only a couple of rooms behind, at most a room. And they're both on the same room. An unfortunate death costed BlackPear a bit of a lead, and now they're neck and neck. And now they're both on the same room, but FCRacers has a little bit of a lead. Don't know if he can cement it just yet. It'll depend if it's a death or not coming up. And now they're both on the battling section, which means this upcoming section is Mirror Temple, and it has quite a couple of different skips, including Door Skip, which is probably one of the hardest skips in the game. And FCRacers has officially gotten a lead. BlackPear is close behind. Here comes the first neutral wall bound skip, which is unfortunate for FCRacers because he died on that skip. However, BlackPear has succeeded on first try. And BlackPear going for door skip and succeeds. This is going to give him quite a cutting edge right here, unless FCRacers can also do. And now BlackPear is on the final part of Summit, which is a bunch of checkpoints combined with brutal platforming. BlackPear dies, unfortunately, which gives FCRacers a little bit of a time to catch up, but he also dies, unfortunately. And now BlackPear both, they're both on the same checkpoint. FCRacers gaining a little bit of a lead, but nothing too substantial as of yet. It's too close to call the game as of right now. And oh, I forgot to mention that there's 4 types of wind. I should have mentioned that in Golden Ridge, but I was unfortunate enough to forget about it. So there's 4 types of wind: tailwind, headwind, updraft, and downdraft. Downdraft gives you higher or increased gravity. Updraft gives you decreased gravity, which both can be one, a very good thing or a very bad thing, depending on location. And now they're both on the same checkpoint, but FCRacers having a little bit of a lead. Will FCRacers win this? In the next coming moments, we will see, because he's coming up on, what is that, checkpoint 7. And now both on checkpoint 6, but FCRacers still having the lead. But I think FCRacers might lose this lead if he dies on this exact. Oh, and BlackPear has officially made the lead by nothing. And BlackPear has made it to checkpoint 1, which means if he doesn't die here, which is possible, he wins. So there we go. BlackPear is done, and FCRacers is very close behind. And FCRacers is also done. So will we have an interview with FCRacers and BlackPear today? And FC is going to join us for a interview. You can come on in now, FC. Will BlackPear also join us? For a quick interview. FC, when you're ready to go, just join into the live on air. You can join in interview. Or are we?